Welcome back to In Session, deep dive into healthcare policy we're bringing to you every week. I'm Ryan Bernald, Vice President of Government Relations for the South Carolina Hospital Association. Here's the rundown, week 4 of the legislative session. To start it off, the Senate got back into the DUI debate on the Senate floor. They look to be postured to wrap that debate up next week. On the House side, we had a 3M committee, the Medical, Municipal, and Military Committee, take up several pieces of legislation of interest to us, most notably non-compete legislation for our physicians and some parental rights legislation. Those bills both passed out of committee favorably. They'll be taken up on the House floor in the coming weeks, potentially as early as next week. We're grateful for the Chairwoman Celeste Davis and Representative Heath Sessions working with us on the physician non-competes language and working with our hospitals and physicians to try to find a good way to protect both parties on that interest. Additionally, we saw some PBM legislation Thursday morning come up in a banking and insurance subcommittee. This has been a hot topic of debate, one that SCHA has provided testimony on as it impacts rising costs in healthcare, and we look forward to seeing what reforms the Senate ultimately proposes in that subcommittee. Additionally, we saw legislation on rural emergency hospitals get introduced in the Senate. We're really grateful for Chairman Verdon for his support on that. That would allow hospitals that qualify to get an additional Medicare rate based on their kind of rural nature and the populations that they serve. It's a federal designation, but requires some state engagement there to ensure that that qualification is permissible and allowable for our hospitals. Last but not least, want to give a big shout out to Beaufort Memorial for showing up for our first hospital of the week. They had a little bit of a snow delay last week, but they showed out in force and got to meet with several of our legislative leaders. Really thankful for Russell Baxley, the CEO there, and his team for being present on the ground and our team for helping out with that. Look for more updates next week, and thanks for watching.